So here's one of them. You're kind of a rep and a sales guy, so I'm going to pitch this one to you. So
Sure.
why would you say that Cal-Hypo is better than any other choices for chlorine?
Well, I mean, it really comes down, everyone obviously has their preference. Trichlor and dichlor have been kind of the king in the industry in a lot of the areas of the country, just because of the ease of use. Guys know that the product's stabilized, and they're gonna get that protection from the sun. But obviously, the trade-off is cyanuric acid, and with Cal-Hypo, the trade-off is the addition of calcium. But if we look at it from a sense of water chemistry, and especially around the Langelier saturation index, and I'm sure that Bob talked a lot about that, and what we can control with the Langelier saturation index as opposed to what we can't control. And we know that we can't control things like TDS or cyanuric acid levels by any adjustments to our pH or our alkalinity, where we can control calcium in the water with adjustments in pH and total alkalinity. And driving those down to lower ranges and being able to control very high levels of calcium, where we can run pools. The high range for calcium in residential pools is 1,000 parts per million. In commercial pools, the Model Aquatic Health Code recently increased the high range on commercial pools to 2,500 parts per million. And a lot of that has to do with the education and the reintroduction for service guys, especially through a lot of the training that Bob is doing, whether it's on the residential side, with his plaster startup classes and using the Langelier saturation index as a guide when you're introducing calcium into the water, and being able to keep it in solution and not to have to worry about those cloudy water conditions or any scaling occurring that would lead to a bad experience with using Cal-Hypo. But from a sanitization aspect, you're going to get that same sanitization experience that you're going to get with trichlor and dichlor, but the one difference that you will absolutely see with running Cal-Hypo with pools is the clarity of the water. I don't know how many guys are watching this or how many will watch it through the recorded version that have used Cal-Hypo in the past, and that's one thing that they will agree with, is the clarity of the water with Cal-Hypo is so superior to trichlor and dichlor. Just because of that cyanuric acid component and how it leads to dull, cloudy water in a lot of the instances when you're running trichlor and dichlor pools. So from that perspective alone, I certainly would prefer Cal-Hypo over trichlor and dichlor beyond just the CYA discussion itself.
Okay. And so why do you think that Cal-Hypo is so popular in commercial pools? Because it's a lot more.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the ongoing regulation and the deep dive into cyanuric acid, and where it becomes a detriment, especially in commercial pools. And that has to do around the kill rates and the kill times for chlorine in the water at elevated cyanuric acid levels. And if from your commercial exposure to the business, that's a big issue in commercial pools, is making sure that we have enough free available chlorine to not only hold off algae, but also to make sure that we're getting good kill rates on anything that is introduced in the water that we don't want to be in there for long periods of time. And with elevated cyanuric acid levels, it's scientifically been shown that kill rates increase at higher levels of cyanuric acid. So using Cal-Hypo in commercial situations and having non-stabilized introduction of chlorine into the water, you get to control the amount of cyanuric acid that's in the water, and you keep it in that range where it still is a benefit, but it doesn't become a detriment, and it's not locking up all that chlorine that you want and need to keep bacteria and algae away.
And so talking about that, and I'm going to throw this in for Alan and John, JJ, if you're watching, and Zach, if you're watching, I'm going to take an opportunity and plug it in. So I heard that you guys maintain the fountain at the Bellagio.
Yes.
And so we John, Zach, and I kind of volunteered ourselves to be able to go with him to check out that whole crazy back operation.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to blow your mind. So obviously with the Bellagio, their first thought was, hey, look, we're going to run these fountains. We need this water to be as clear as possible, crystal clear. And the clarity again with Cal-Hypo and running those huge pulsar feeders And when you get a chance to see it, the operation there is second to none. I mean, it's world class in terms of the setup. And the clarity of the water in that in that large lake that they have, that light show and that that cannon show with the water getting shot out and everything. They're highly happy with running their Cal-Hypo systems on those big huge feeders that are treating that large body of water and keeping it crystal clear. It's just amazing. So if you get a chance to do it, highly recommend it.
I just put our plug in to also put it in there because Alan said that he would take us. So and Mama is now saying that too. So I take every opportunity to remind Alan.
Well, hold him to it because he will definitely make it happen for you.